What's up, future millionaires? It's Mike the Investor, and in today's video, we're going to dive into the Polygon Matic project and is it still a buy? And so there are timestamps in the description for you below because this video is broken down into about 6 different sections. And so what we're going to be covering in today's video, number 1, we're going to look at the price chart for Polygon. Number 2, what is Polygon? Number 3, the use case for Polygon. Number 4, some pros and cons. Number 5, some key partnerships. And the last thing we're going to cover is the 6th section, is Polygon still a buy? And so remember that this video is strictly for entertainment and educational purposes, so please do your own research. Now before we dive into today's content, this video is brought to you by Unstoppable Domains, who recently just partnered with Polygon. And the reason why this is so important is because now when you go to mint your domain on the blockchain, there are no gas fees because of the partnership with Polygon. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Unstoppable Domains, it is the top company and website to use to purchase your domain for the blockchain. And you can see here are the different extensions that you can purchase. Now, the special things about blockchain domains, number 1, there are no renewal fees like you have with .com, .org, .net. Once you buy it, it is yours to keep. Secondly, because they partner with Polygon, when you go to mint it on the blockchain, you have no gas fees. And then thirdly, it is permanently on the blockchain. It can't be taken down by just a centralized authority. And so what these can be used for is usernames across apps and websites, website URLs, payment addresses and wallets, and much more. And so if you want to check this out for yourself, click the Unstoppable Domain link in the description below. But let's dive into the price chart of Polygon Matic. Alright investors, so we are on CoinGecko and we can see the market has started to turn back up according to the pullback that we experienced here recently. We can see the current crypto market cap is at 2.7 trillion and we are up about 3.6% on the day. Now the 24-hour value 155.3 billion. And so as we move down, let's go ahead and see Polygon is still in the top 20. It has moved up to number 19. And so let's go ahead and click on Polygon here. We can see it is up actually 11.1% on the day. And as we can see here for the circulating supply, 6.8 billion, and the max supply is 10 billion. Now real quick, I believe that the max supply will be in full circulation starting next year. I believe in August sometime, if I'm correct. I believe they announced August is when the full circulation supply will be in effect. So if there's not enough buys, offsetting the supply that's coming into the supply of Polygon, well, that can potentially affect the price depending on what happens. So that is something to be mindful of. However, the supply is still extremely small in my opinion. And as for the market cap for Polygon, it is 11.8 billion currently, and the current price is $1.73. And so let's go ahead and move down here to the price charts. And if you look to the far right here, you can see the all-time high is $2.62, and you can see just the all-time low. If you go back a little over 2 years, you can see it is 0.003. But even if we don't go back to 2019, if we just go back to the beginning of this year, Polygon had a parabolic run. And so for the people that bought in January or very early this year, they seen a nice amount of gains because it really started pumping when February hit. January, it was still, 3 cents, 1 cent, 2 cents. And so soon as February hit, we can see Polygon started moving. Then it hit 11 cents. And you can see this thing just shot all the way up. This was the all-time high. And we can see we have come down and we have been consolidating and built really, really nice support in that, $1.50-ish range, give or take. And so after looking at the price chart for Matic, the cryptocurrency that powers the Polygon network, let's briefly talk about what is Polygon before we kind of go to the website, just to look at a little literature to kind of back up what I'm saying. And so Polygon, in simplest terms, is a layer 2 scaling solution network, which prides itself on improving blockchains, for their scalability, complexity, as well as gas fees. And the key focus of the Polygon network is to be the Ethereum Internet of Blockchains. And so let's briefly look at the website just to put a little bit of literature on what I just said. And so looking at the vision here of the Polygon team, it says we envision an open, borderless world, a world in which people and machines collaborate and exchange value globally and freely without gatekeepers or intermediaries. And so as we move down here, this is going to tell you who they are. Here is the team, and these three here are the first Indian billionaires. Very, very smart people, and these are the advisory board as well. And so let's briefly look at their co-statement here. Ethereum's Internet of Blockchains. Polygon is a protocol and a framework for building and connecting Ethereum compatible blockchain networks, aggregating scalable solutions on Ethereum, supporting a multi-chain Ethereum ecosystem. Now you hear a lot of Ethereum, but their focus isn't just to be on Ethereum. They can be implemented in more than one chain, and this is why this is so important. And we're going to briefly talk on that a little bit later when we talk about the risk for Polygon. But now let's kind of talk about the use case of Polygon, which will help make a little bit more sense on what is the Polygon network. Let's check it out. And so the first main thing that Polygon does is it offers technology to improve blockchain performance. And one of the first products of Polygon was a sidechain. And if you're unfamiliar on what a sidechain is, here you go. A sidechain connects to a blockchain and it helps to perform better transaction processes much more quickly and have lower fees. Now, Polygon has been developed for use with Ethereum blockchain, but that doesn't mean it's limited to Ethereum. Now, remember that sentence because we're going to talk about that, remember, when we talk about the risk part. And so it's a sidechain that can work with all blockchain technology. And so it is not just subject to Ethereum, which is very important. And so the second main thing that Polygon does that we're talking about today is aiming to provide a framework for blockchain networks. And so what this means is users will be able to create blockchain networks that interconnect with each other instead of being totally separated. Now they can create their own standalone blockchains with all the benefits those provide, including scalability and flexibility. They also have the advantages of Ethereum offers, including its security and the tools available through it. And so in simplest terms, we can see the use case for Polygon is to improve blockchain networks for scalability, flexibility, complexity, as well as making fees pretty much non-existent. And that gives Polygon a legitimate use case in today's real world today, which brings us now to the pros and cons to the Polygon network. Let's talk about it. Some of the key pros or benefits for the Polygon network. Number one, it has a legitimate use case that's being used today in the real world, as we saw with Unstoppable Domains and Polygon, which makes their fees non-existent. Number two, it has institutional backing. Grayscale Investments, the largest digital asset manager in the world, already announced that they're going to be adding a trust for Polygon. Also, we have the key partnerships that we're going to be taking a look at next. We also have the small supply of Polygon, which is major. And then lastly, it's already listed on the major centralized exchanges. And so that is a big deal for investors to get a hold of this asset as well. And so when we look at the risk of Polygon, there's only one major risk in my opinion. And that is a lot of people are saying, well, when Ethereum moves to 2.0, Polygon won't be needed, because Polygon's main focus is to help Ethereum with their scalability issues. And this is why they say the Ethereum Internet of Blockchains. But remember, when we looked at the use case, Polygon technology isn't just for Ethereum. It can be used for other blockchains as well, which brings me to the second part of the risk. There are other projects out here, and I think the most competition that Polygon has will be Avalanche and Polkadot. However, I do think all three of these projects can coincide together. I don't think one would rule all of it. I do think all of them will have market share. And so that's just kind of my opinion on the risk side. All right, investors, so we covered a lot so far in this video. If you're gaining some value, definitely smash that like button. But now let's dive into some of the key partnerships of the Polygon ecosystem. Now there are many more, but these are just some big names that I pointed out. Number one, we have Unstoppable Domains, which I've already talked about. You have DraftKings, which is the top, online betting site. You also have OpenSea, which is the top NFT marketplace right now. You have Chainlink, and you also have Decentraland Mana, which is one of the top metaverse gaming projects in the space today, and Chainlink is the top Oracle crypto project in the space today. And so when we look at a side note, I want to briefly show you the backing of Grayscale that they announced back in June of this year. Check this out. As you can see for the headline, Grayscale is exploring the addition of Matic and Solana to its products. And this came out June 18th, 2021. So this was the middle of the year. So I just want to briefly show now, not to go too deep in this. I showed this on a later video, maybe 3 to 4 months ago, but these are all of the current trusts that Grayscale has, and these are the ones that are being considered. Now the ones in bold, they have already made the position to add the fund. As you can see, you have Matic, and if you move down, you can see you have Solana as well. And so when you have that big backing like that from institutional, and not to mention the largest digital asset manager in the world today, that tells me something. And so as I always say, follow the money. And if they're investing in Matic, they know something, and they understand the technology behind Matic, and they understand Matic will be successful in the future. However, this is not financial advice, so please do your own due diligence before investing. And so now let's dive into the last section in this video. Is Matic still a buy? Well, the question is, if you're talking long term, not financial advice, Matic is undervalued, and it is a screaming buy for the long term. Now, if you're trying to buy Matic for a quick pump for the next 3 to 6 months, your risk is extremely higher because the market is already at all-time highs. Everything is subject to Bitcoin, so we don't know what's going to happen. We have to wait for Bitcoin to make its move. But one thing we do know, in the long term, cryptocurrency is only going to go up, and Matic is one of those projects that will be here to stay, in my opinion. It has a legitimate use case. You already can see the partnerships that it's acquired, and you can also see the institutional backing that it has from the largest digital asset manager in the world. And so when you just connect all of those pieces to the puzzle, you can see what's coming. I'm a big fan of following the money, partnerships, connections, and other things like that. And so if you gain some value from this video, most importantly, smash that like button. It really helps out the channel. But that is all I got for you. Remember to stay inspired, stay motivated, always invest in yourself, and I'm out.